a problem of probabilities. This problem is about 130 people that were trying to enter a nightclub without showing an ID. And this table was given by the problem, and it's about the 130 people that were trying. Under age 38 were denied, and the under age 22 were allowed. So there were a total of 60 underaged, and there were 12 adults that were denied and 58 that were allowed to enter, and the total of adults were 70. So the total of denied were 50, the total of allowed were 80, and the total of people was 130. So now we're gonna do letter A, that is, what's the probability an underage kid that will be granted entry. So we're gonna go in the table to underage allowed that were 22. So what's the probability of underage allowed? So it's 22 over the total of people, that it's 130. So if we simplify, it is 11 over 65, and we can have an answer of decimal that it will give us 0.1692, and in percent it will be 16.92%. Now we're gonna do letter B, that is someone who was denied entry. So in this problem, it doesn't specify if it's an adult or an underage. So we're gonna use the total amount of denied. So what's the probability of denied? And it's 50 over the total of people, that it's 130. So we simplify to 5 over 13, or in decimal, it will give us 0.3846. And remember, if you want to do it percent, you multiply it times 100, and it will give us 38.46%.
Okay, so now for problem letter C. Someone who was denied given he is an adult. When we have the word given, we have to use this formula, because this means that we're only talking about the adults, not the 130 people. So we're gonna start. The probability of being denied given, we have to, given is this little line, it's an adult. And we follow the formula. First, the probability of being denied, because A, this is A, and adult is B. So the probability of being both A and B, this means and. So you search for the probability of denied and adult. Denied and adult, that is 12. 12 over the probability of B, that means all the adults. You go to the row of adults, and that is 70. So 12 over 70. If we simplify this, we're gonna get 6 over 35. And you can express this as a decimal, like this. Or a percent, like this. Okay, for problem letter D, one who was granted entry or underaged. When we have the word or, we use the or formula. This means or. So we'll write the probability of being allowed or underaged. And we have A and B. The two things we have is allowed and underaged. So we start. The probability of A, that means all the allowed people, is 80. 80 out of 130. Plus the probability of all the underage people, which is 60. 60 out of 130. And here, if you see, you counted the allowed and the underaged. Underaged and the allowed. You counted this column, this square, twice. So now, as the formula says, we're going to subtract the probability of both A and B happening. That means being allowed and being underaged. Because remember, this means and. So, underage and allowed is 22. So we're going to subtract 22 out of 130. And this will give us 118 out of 130. If we simplify this, we're going to get 59 out of 65. And we can express this also in decimal form, which is, or in percent. You just move the point 2 places. 90.77%.
This topic is called integration, and it's the antiderivative of an equation. So we have this problem, and the first step is to solve it using the power rule. This is the power rule. So the first step is we are going to rewrite it, and then the 6 stays there for now, and we have to solve the 3 square root, no, it's like a power here, square root x. So with a reminder that when it's a power rule, the n and m transforms into an x and n. So what we have to do is use the n, that it's this one, and the m here, because there's not a number, it's to the first power. So it's a 1. So we're going to do x, and the formula says m over n, so it's x 1/3. And this is the first step. We are just rewriting it, and we're going to rewrite it again. But as a reminder says here, we can't have an exponent here in the denominator. So we're doing it to the denominator by doing it by the negative sign. So what we're going to do is rewrite it again, and then this part will go to the upper side. So we're going to write 6 and then x, and because it's going to the opposite, it will turn out as a negative. So x minus 1/3 dx. Now that the equation is rewritten, we're going to start integrating using the power rule formula. So the first step is to use the formula and write x n plus 1. So we have to write x as the 6 and then n plus 1. We're going to add a 1. So it's 6x minus 1/3 plus 1. As 3 and a 1 can't add up, we're going to change it to 3, 3. That it's the same as 1, 1. So it will be 6x 2/3. This is the first step of the formula, but now we have to add n plus 1. N plus 1 is this. So we're going to add it using a small trick. This trick will allow you not to use a huge equation and then have to sum it out, or use the tortilla formula. This will just let it be simple. So what we're going to do is write the 6 and leave a space. Then write x 2/3, and here you're going to multiply by this number, but the numbers will flip. So 3 will go up, 2 will go down. So it will be times 3 2's. So the answer will be 18 2's x 2/3. if we simplify this, it will be 9x 2/3, and this is your equation. But we're still missing the 8/1. When we have the answer, we have to simplify it more using the remainder formula. So remember, we can't have and we have to change it to a square root. So we're going to write our 9 and then a square root of x, and the first number goes always inside the house and the second number goes always outside the house. So this is our equation, but we have to still to write the definite integral, that it's the 8 and a 1. So to solve this integral, we're going to use the definite integral formula. This means that we're going to replace x with this formula. So this 8 will now become b, and this one will now become a. So we have 9, and we're going to do first letter number A. So we're going to put 1, so x we're going to change it for 1 to the second and to the third equals, and because 1 to the second power is 1, and if you square it by 3 is 1, then you multiply it by 9, then the answer will be 9. So now we're going to do letter number B. This formula is here. So letter number B is the same, but you're going to substitute x by 8. 8 to the second power and by the square root of 3. And if you do this, you have 64, and we're going to do it in the calculator, so you can watch here how we're going to do 9 shift 3 8 to a second power, and the answer is 36. So we have a 36, and then the formula says that it's f of b minus f of a. So we're going to, this is b, this is a, we're going to put 36 minus 9, and the answer will be 27. And this is your final answer.